Hello everybody. So we've been having a struggle the last week. I think it's rained 6 out of the last 7 days. We've had a little over 5 inches of rain this week. Today's kind of overcast, a little bit breezy, actually a little bit chilly. I think it's in the mid-50s right now. But we've been trying to harden off our seedlings. You can see some of them behind us. Trying to get those ready to plant. It's going to be a little too wet to plant a lot of those today. The tomatoes won't go in this early. We'll wait a couple weeks to get those in the ground. But we want to get some of those other seedlings in the ground and start getting everything planted, because we're a couple weeks behind right now. So it's been a little difficult. We've been planting on both properties. We're getting our orchard in on the new farm property, and we've been obviously trying to get some stuff planted around here. So we're going to start prepping our planting beds today. Hopefully get some grass cut today, get those grass clippings in the garden because we like to mulch with that, and hopefully getting a lot of our stuff in the ground so we can start our growing season. So our garlic has been doing really nicely. Got a couple hundred heads of garlic. Asparagus, we've actually been picking asparagus and eating that for quite a while, so that's been coming up good. Our high tunnel, we planted this back in the beginning of March. Actually, it was the second week of March, so it's been about 2 months now. Let's take a look and see what we've got going on in here. These are potatoes behind me here. Again, this stuff's all about 2 months old, so we're really happy. We've got lettuce, we've got peas growing up our trellis here. Peas are starting to flower, so hopefully within a couple weeks we'll be eating fresh snap peas. Got broccoli. Again, this is all since the beginning, or since the middle of March. Got a few cucumbers starting in the back. And then of course our onions. These were planted from sets. But this is doing really well in here. So we spread out some compost in our farthest bed. We're going to do herbs back there. This is bagged compost because we just don't make enough compost yet. Once we get on the other property and we have cattle over there, I'm sure we'll have more than enough. But we're saving the compost that we make ourselves here for the main garden, which is a little bit larger, and it'll need that those extra nutrients also. But interesting enough, right here in this bed, we have this volunteer asparagus plant. Bird must have dropped the seed here something.
Yeah, we have female asparagus plants. Some of our asparagus we bought it, I don't know, 10 years ago we planted it. We got crowns, and I didn't know what they were, but so, and you can see this one's going to make seed itself, and the birds eat them, and then we end up with asparagus popping up everywhere. So actually I cut some of this off.
Which isn't a bad thing.
No, I cut some of this off, and we've eaten a little bit. We could probably break this one, and this one will be great. We could have this for dinner tonight. But we are going to transplant this plant right here into the regular garden.
So we're going to give it a shot, see if we can get it out of the ground.
Yeah, it's going to have a big... Hopefully I won't damage it too much, but probably need something bigger than this little trowel. But
Might need a big shovel.
It might. I don't know. It's got a big root in it. I gotta get around the other side of it, I think.
Oh, that's a lot of...
It is. Holy crap.
Okay, a lot of roots down here. I'm going to try to get this down as far as I can.
And see if you can shake some of that soil off of there.
They broke a little bit. It's like almost...
Might be more than one. I don't know. We can plant them both, see what happens.
Yeah. A lot of clumps in this.
I think because it was...
It's just so compacted from being in that pallet, I guess.
Yeah.
So we've got our beds pretty much all prepped. We'll put a little all-purpose organic fertilizer in it when we plant. But all three of them have the composted cow manure. We got it all broken up and spread out. We had grass clippings in these raised beds before for over winter, so the ground was covered. We just put the cow manure, composted cow manure on top of that. We're going to do our onions first. We're going to make 5 rows. I think that's what we usually fit in here. Is we usually fit 5 rows. We're going to lay them out, and then we'll get them planted. That was a little crooked.
Yeah.
These were started from seed.
Yeah, back early February, I think. And so what we're going to do, we're going to take them apart and swish them in the water. So we get off as much of the dirt as possible and then separate each onion. And try not to damage the root.
This way it makes it easier for us to lay them out.
Yeah,
in the
lay
bed.
them out.
Doesn't help that it's a windy day out.
No. But we should have got these in the ground a little while ago, but it's just been, the weather's not been real great lately.
So we're just trying to get an idea of spacing and how many we have. So we're just kind of laying them in the bed here, in the rows where we're going to plant them. Apologize for the chainsaw noise. The neighbor's cutting some trees, but that's what happens when you live in the country. So we're just really trying to get an idea of how many we have to make sure we don't need another container. So that's why we're laying them out like this. They always look so delicate when you put them down. You never think they're going to grow, but it takes a little bit. And last year they did really well. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. We got a good year this year also. I'm going to start planting these. You just poke a little hole in the ground and push the roots down in there and then start packing the dirt around. Making sure they're not too deep. Kind of want that top part where the onion's going to be near the surface.
And you need like 4 to 6 inches between them.
We're going to mix up a little fertilizer. We're going to use, we use this organic multi-purpose fertilizer. I'm also going to put a little extra bone meal in there. I like to use bone meal with anything that grows in the ground. It helps with root development. and helps everything underground just grow a lot better. So we're going to mix those together. We're going to sprinkle some on these onions and give them a little bit of a watering, and we'll have bed number 1 done. So this bed we're going to put our carrots in. I think we'll do 6 rows in here. We usually do Danver half longs. We get those in the ground first, then I'll sprinkle some of that fertilizer mix on top. We're going to soak that well. Then I'm actually going to cover it with a silver tarp to keep it moist, because carrots, you have to keep them moist, otherwise they're not going to germinate. So they're going to have to be covered probably for a couple weeks. Planted carrots before, you know how small these seeds are. Easiest way I've still found is just to do them by hand and just sprinkle them a little at a time. Gonna lightly cover these now. And we'll give them a little of the fertilizer. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, because carrots have to be kept moist, we're going to put this silver tarp. The silver will reflect the heat so it doesn't get too hot underneath. But this will keep the moisture in, and we'll check underneath this every day or so just to make sure it's not drying out. If they need water, we'll give them water. But after about a couple weeks under this tarp, we should have our carrots starting to sprout. And then once they get maybe half an inch high, you take the tarp off. And of course, anytime you're using a tarp, it's got to be the windiest day of the week. So, see what we can do to get this on. This is a 4x8 bed, so this tarp I think is, I don't know, 10 by 12 or something. I'm just using spring clamps. Okay, this is good for now. We'll adjust it a little bit later, but we've got it covered anyways. We just use some spring clamps to hold it on there. If it rains, we do have to check this because water will pond on the top of it, but if it's raining, we can uncover it so that they can get some fresh water. So it's time to move on to our herb bed.
Sage, thyme and marjoram. Get in there. I kind of lay them out first.
these cell trays that we have, these are nice. They have like a silicone bottom.
Yeah.
Makes it easier to get them out. They're made by Burpee.
Yeah.
Anything we haven't found is like a greenhouse lid for them, which would be a nice addition.
You got two of them together, you can put them in the tray and get one of the bigger greenhouse lids when you're starting your seeds, but I wish they came with an individual.
Yeah, and they fit perfectly in the bootstrap farmer heavy-duty trays. Those are the ones we like. But we kind of have to use the lids from some of the other trays when we're trying to do that greenhouse effect.
This cumin is a little bit root bound. Like I said, some of these things were a little bit behind on getting it in the garden, and I've never actually planted this before, so we'll see how it does. We've got some basil, which I'm going to put this in with my tomatoes. I'm not going to put this in the bed. And then we've got some oregano in here too. So we'll see what we can fit in here. If not, we'll just put it in the regular garden. Alright, we got some sage, thyme, marjoram, cumin, which I'm not sure how that's going to do, but we'll try it. Two different kinds of oregano, and then parsley. And we got some basil, but that's going to go in by the tomatoes.
Okay, we just got to water this in and our raised beds are done. Good morning. It's the next day now. Yesterday, once we finished planting our raised beds, we were able to get some more stuff in the first row of our garden here. We planted beans across the front row. We've got some celery, we've got some more broccoli. We put our extra onion seeds that we had started inside in the garden, this first row. And now today, we're going to get potatoes planted up top, and we're going to get some of our zucchini in the ground today. And if we get that done in time, we might finish on, or we might move on to planting some popcorn, and who knows, we got a bunch of other beds that we got to get done, so it's time to get started. First thing I want to do is I want to broad fork this for our potatoes, loosen up this ground. So we've got our 2 rows dug. Probably would have been easier just to do the back row first, but it is what it is. So we're going to put red Norlands in the back, and I think we got Yukon Gold that we're going to put up front. So we're just going to place them in the hole just to get the spacing right. Make sure we have enough to go down the row. Then we're going to put a little all-purpose fertilizer, bone meal, and compost. Now you could take and you could cut these in half as long as you leave generally like 2 eyes on each side. We generally don't do that. We just plant them whole. We were a little too lazy to cut them in half. You have to kind of let them scab over overnight. So we just put them in the ground whole. We've had very good luck with that. So that's what we'll continue to do. Top dress this with some of our compost. Like I said, we're going to use some organic fertilizer and some bone meal on top of this. We ran our soaker hose down the trenches. As the potatoes grow, we'll start filling these in and we'll raise the soaker hose out. We don't want it to get stuck in the hole. But this way we can keep them watered pretty easily. So we had a great weekend of planting. We got our raised beds behind the house planted. Those we have our onions that we started from seeds earlier this year. We have carrots that we sowed in the ground there. And we have our herb garden that we have going. And those are right outside the back of our house, so it makes it easy to go out there and pick something when you want to. In our main garden, we planted several things from seeds. We put some pole beans in, we put beets in, we put 2 different kinds of lettuce in. We transplanted seeds that we started in the house. We have broccoli, we have celery that we actually bought. We didn't start that ourselves. We have zucchini in there. We put our seed potatoes in there. We also put cucumbers in there, so we've got those all ready to get going. And in the lower garden, we had planted our luffa that we saved the seeds from last year. We also planted some new luffa because not all those germinated, so we did put some new seeds in the ground. We have pole beans, we have pumpkins, we have watermelons. Oh, we put pepita pumpkins also. We planted those from seeds. Those are up in the main garden. So we got a lot of stuff done this weekend. We still have a lot to do. We've got the popcorn to go in. We have 3 lower raised beds in the lower part of our yard that we have to get going. So hopefully we'll get those in within the next couple weeks. And then we're hoping to start planting on the new farm. We're hoping going to be able to put some corn in there and maybe some more pumpkins and watermelons. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. We're waiting just for some approvals and some site work that we need to do. So we'll keep you posted on that. So we thank you for coming and spending some time with us again. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. If you like the video, hit that like button. It will certainly help us get more views. And as always, as we say here on Sunnyside Farm, until next time, I hope all your days are sunny side up.